My name is Larry. I'm a mechanic. Welcome to Exxon F1, also known as from Lawon, Colum, Africa. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the RB20. The RB18 was a special one, but the RB19 was a delight from heaven. Now, Red Bull had dominated F1 since 2022. Past their domination from 2010 to 2013. The domination for 2 years was like 10 years domination for any other car manufacturer. How did that happen? They quickly jumped on the right car right from 2022. They got the car right, they got the chassis right, the aerodynamics, they were on point with their engine, the transmission, though there are some little hiccups with the transmission and engine, which we get to. But right on top, they were on the chassis, on the front wings, the rear wings, and everything was looking so good for Red Bull right from the beginning. In which at that time, we all know that Socrates law. So, how did Red Bull get this kind of domination that looks like a 10-year domination? In the last 40-something races, Red Bull had won over 30 of those races. In 2023 alone, they won 21 of the 22 races. With Max Verstappen winning 19 of those 22 races, his teammate Checo Perez 2 and Carlos Sainz just 1. And you say that's not domination for over 10 years. That is massive domination. The gap in which they are leading is over an average of 0.5 seconds per race, which is purely massive. And that shows you how far Red Bull are ahead of others in their car. Now, what did they get wrong? The only thing I would say Red Bull had only gotten wrong is the transmission, because we've heard Max Verstappen complain about the transmission, especially the shaft and also the shift in the transmission, the way it shifts. It sounds erratic and it's like not the way he wanted the transmission to shift, especially when it is coming down, moving down the transmission order of the gear. Also on the shaft, they've had issues, especially at the beginning of the season, with the shaft, the way the shaft interrelates with the car. But that has not stopped the car from dominating. And I think with the engine, they've had issues last year with the engine, which they've corrected. They've really improved. But this year, we saw engine-related issues with their sister team, that's Alpha Tauri. I think they over-tuned up their engine to push the limit, in which Red Bull this year have not really turned up too much of their engine because they're just away from other car manufacturers or from other cars in the championship. Now, we look at the floor. They got it right from beginning. Coming to this year, they had the biggest advantage on their floor because they made their floor so copy-like of the Williams, in which had given them the best straight line speed they've gotten, and also on corners they are able to work it out in a way that's giving them advantage on the corner. The aerodynamics had been perfect, and almost every team on the grid has been copying Red Bull since they saw the aerodynamics on that car. It's so sweet. Wow, that's the Red Bull for you. They have the wings because that aerodynamics gives them wings. Yeah. So looking at Red Bull, all in all, we can see that Red Bull are dominated, and coming into 2020, what do they need to do to make their car better? Number one, McLaren have closed up to about 7/10. Mercedes are still like a second away from them. Ferrari are like 9/10 away from them, while others, Aston Martin, are more over a second away from them. What do Red Bull need to do? They need to work on their shaft, they need to work on their transmission, and they need to look at the reliability of their engine, because the competition is going to be stiffer come 2024. Now, the aerodynamics, will others not get up on making their car more aerodynamic efficient to catch up with Red Bull, or even getting ahead of Red Bull? Yes, there's a possibility, but with what Red Bull are having, they are well over close to a second ahead of everyone. They only need a little development on the car to get gains from the car. If they overdevelop the car, I think that car is going to come down to nothing. But they just need a little bit of development on the side, and the way the hair interrelates with the side of the car. Also on the rear, the way the hair pass through the rear of the car and the rear wings. I think that enough should give them a lot of stability and ease off the pressure of aerodynamics and give them a lot of advantage in that aspect. And I think that should give the Red Bull much more speed come 2024. Now, will the Red Bull dominate in 2024? I can't really tell you. Depends on how they over or under develop the car. If other car manufacturers come up with a beautiful spectacle, not the kind of spectacle that Mercedes come up with in W13 and W14, they come up with a better package for the car in 2024 that would beat Red Bull. I think Red Bull might have run out of space for development on the RB19, which will give the RB20 a little backward step, because in F1 we know it is very difficult to get a microsecond, talk less of a tenth in F1. So getting 1 second will take any other team in F1 now a whole lot of development to get that chunk out of the car. Now, getting up to 2 seconds, that will be massive, and any car that develops that 2024 is winning. And looking at the Red Bull, they look like a dominating car again in 2024. Will Red Bull be able to continue their domination in 2024 with what we've seen and the little we know they can bring to the car to make that car more faster? Remember, they didn't really develop the RB19 in 2023. They did a little development because they know they are way ahead. With the cost cap and with what they know they have, they did just a little development. They brought just 2 or 3 big upgrades to the the car, and those worked perfectly, gave them what they needed, and they were still able to maintain the distance to the other teams behind them, which means they were just lonely at the top. So how do they do a better job in 2024? It's left to them to come up with a good car, little more upgrades, a better car that will give them a chunk of speed. Looking at what they will bring and what others will bring in 2024 should give us a more delightful spectacle and a more beautiful competitive car in 2024. Up until then, we're talking about Ferrari next. I love you guys. Tell me in the comment section what you think Red Bull will do differently to make them faster, and also all other car manufacturers need to do to make them faster. I'll be loving to hear from you. Now, with the Red Bull failing the front wing crash test, I'm not sure that would affect them next year, because Red Bull were the only team in 2023 that went into weight ratio mode. They were way below the weight, as in they kept to the weight. Their car was not overweighted. Will the other teams be able to do that? I remember the Mercedes, one of the reasons why they went black was because they are trying to save some kgs on painting so that their car will not be overweighted. Paint also add to the weight of the car. So certainly it's going to be a good season for Red Bull. Will they be able to really stand out like they did in 2023? It's up to them, and it's up to Chris Horner, that has really not put Andrew Newey's design and his experience into play, because Andrew Newey's experience has really saved them in 2022 and 2023. If other manufacturers improve their cars, will they be able to compete? That is the question to Red Bull. And also to the drivers. Max Verstappen did a fantastic job in 2023. Will he be able to continue that same job in 2024? It's up to the car. Now for Checo Perez, will he be able to come out of his misery in 2023? We are yet to see the best of Checo Perez, aside from 2021. Since 2022, we are yet to see the best of Checo Perez. Hope 2024 will give us an highlight of what he can do in a good car. Up until then, I love you guys. I love you. Bye. Chee.